Hello future toppers. Welcome to a strict initiative of Civilsdaily to ensure consistency in your day-to-day preparation. My name is Santosh Gupta and I will be taking up the prelims section of the strict initiative. And today topics are directive principle of state policy and fundamental duty. And we are going to solve the questions based on these topics using a threefold FCE approach, that is fundamental, conceptual and elimination approach, and this has helped me to score up to 145.34 in prelims, and I qualified all of my attempts due to this technique itself. So let's focus on each question and see how you can use the knowledge of fact, conceptual clarity and also the elimination technique to solve the questions. So let's start, and the first question is on the DPSP. Which of the following statement given below are correct? Okay, so let's read a statement one by one. While fundamental rights aim at establishing political democracy, the DPSP aim at establishing social and economic democracy in India. So this looks logically correct and it is factually also. And conceptually, see, the rights are of usually of five kinds: civil, political, cultural, economic and social rights. So what constitutional makers thought that, oh, we do not have that kind of resources, we do not have the state authority that much of power or resources, so that they could give economic and social rights such as right to health or right to housing. So they thought, okay, certain rights will make it enforceable in the courts, such as which they called it as a fundamental rights, and which usually include civil rights, political rights and cultural rights. So one example of civil right is that is given in Article 19, that you have right to a speech and expression. One right of example is equality and right to equality and equal protection of law, and also one right you have right to life and liberty. So there is not much clear demarcation between civic and political rights. All these three constitute your civic and political rights. And the cultural rights is Article 25, 6, 27, 28, 29 and 30. They are for right to religion and conscience, protection of culture and protection to the religious minority. While in DPSP you have social and economic rights, that promotion of domestic industries, protection of to milk cows and special schemes working for the women and children, right to housing and everything. So those are the social and economic rights aimed for the social and economic justice, and preamble talks about it, political, economic and social justice. So you have political justice in fundamental rights, economic and social justice in the DPSC, but they are not enforceable. But it is up to state and central legislature to provide those rights to the citizens. So first will be true, while fundamental rights have legal sanctions and DPSP have moral and political sanctions. Yes, fundamental rights do have the legal sanctions, while DPSP does not have the legal sanctions. It is written in the constitution that it will be up to parliament and legislature to enforce those rights, give those rights. So it creates a moral pressure on the political leadership to grant these rights, and courts have also been using DPSP to grant certain rights like right to environment or right to housing. So DPSP can get priority over fundamental rights if it is in interest of economic rights of people. So this is not true, because we do have certain rights within the DPSP. They often get priority over the fundamental right, but it is not valid for the all fundamental rights. So 3 you can eliminate and 1 and 2 will be true. And only through understanding the chronology you can understand this topic in the detail. So here answer is 1 and 2, and we have seen that only in the case of 39B and C they get priority over Article 14 and 19 over the Constitution, because it was brought by the 25th Amendment and it was accepted within the case Swanand Bharti case, that is also basic structured judgment. While in Vinadwa Mill case, Supreme Court has clearly that it is the balance of fundamental rights and DPSP that is required. not the fundamental rights getting absolute priority over DPSP or other way around. So it is the balance that we have to focus, and gradually Supreme Court is recognizing the rights within the DPSP in while reading fundamental rights and preamble broadly. So moving on to next question, 1 and 2 is correct. Moving on to next question, with reference to Constitution of India, directive principle of state policy constitute limitation upon executive action, legislative action, 1 and 2. So we have already discussed that fundamental rights is a negative obligations upon the state policy, parliament and executive authority, even the president. While DPSP is a positive obligation to provide social rights, economic rights, social justice, economic justice, grassroots political democracy, that is a panchayat. So it does not pose any limitations, but it exhorts the parliament or executive to act upon that when the resources are there, when they have a state capacity is up to that mark, so that they can provide certain rights. See, already we have seen Narega for workers' participations. We already have other rights. Now there is a discussion on right to health now in the time of corona. So all this does not pose on the limitation, but it exhorts, it asks them to provide the enabling legislation, both or enabling measures by the executive. So neither 1 or 2 will be correct here. Moving on to next questions about the DPSP again. Which of the following DPSP are given below were not originally present in the constitution and were added subsequently? Okay, so here one way to go about that, you remember all the DPSP, or you remember certain facts, or you remember the concept that DPSP amended also first in 42 amendment in 1966, in 86th amendment also during the right to education constitutional amendment. So first, provide free legal aid to poor. It is provided in Article 39A. So whenever you see A, B, C, D, they are chance to be the result of the amendment. So you can safely include 1. 2 also, to secure participation of workers in the management of industry, 41A. Still it is a product of amendment, and during the Indira Gandhi government, it left movement were strong and they wanted workers' participation in management of industry, because that time socialism impact was more. So it was added later. To protect and improve the environment and discharge of forest and wildlife. You see, with the Stockholm Conference in 1972, emphasis on the wildlife and environment increased. So when our constitution was to be amended, they provided for this also in Article 48A, again A, and provision for early childhood care and education to children below age of 6. So earlier constitution was only aimed at 6 to 14 years of children. Child education, but they thought no, we have to focus on the below 6 year itself. So when Article 21A was brought for the 6 to 14 year, become childhood education becoming the fundamental rights. So they amended Article 45 and provided for the DPSP of early childhood care and education below age of 6 years. Now there is a discussion also amending Article 21A and right to education to include even in there is a emphasis on national education policy to provide early childhood education also as a right. So all of them here will be answered. 42 amendment, 39A legal aid, 43 workers participation in management, 48 environment protection, 45 early childhood care and education. So moving on to next question. Which of the following is a directive principle of state policy? Again, one option is that you remember all of them, or if you do not, you have to use the elimination. State shall strive to promote science and technology for development. This looks like more like a fundamental duty or it is matter of policy. See, so we will not include one for now. A state shall endeavor to secure citizen a uniform civil code throughout India. This remains too much in the news in polity, and we know that article 44 provides for the uniform civil code throughout India. This we all remember. So 2 will include here definitely. States shall try to develop population policy and family planning programs. We do want upper population to be low and to so that optimum development come to everyone else. But it is not included in the population policy and family planning programs. It was even in one of the thing that was recommended for the fundamental duties that will come later. States shall take a step to promote tourism. This is a matter of policy, and state already does. And during the time of DPSC when it was enacted, tourism was not a much factor. Same as science and technology being provided in the DPSP, it was important itself by the state. And also the family policy and population policy and family program. Though we started very early for the national population policy, but it was not provided in the DPSP. So only 2 will be correct here. So moving on the next question. It is about the fundamental duties. Consider the following statement about the fundamental duties. Have always been a part of Constitution of India? No. It has not been part of Constitution. We know that it was brought by the 42 Amendment in 1976, a new chapter 4A, which provided for the fundamental duties and have been added through an amendment. That is true. Now next, Saran Singh Committee recommended fundamental duties to be mandatory on all citizens of India. Yes, Saran Singh Committee was announced for the 42 amendment, and it added one chapter for the fundamental duty, and it also wanted that these fundamental duties to be mandatory along with other duties such as right to vote, right to duty to pay tax or duty to vote, and other like if you destroy public property then you will be punished. That is already there but differently. And 4, enjoyment of rights. So 3 will not be true here because we know that fundamental duties are not enforceable and you will be not be punished for violating of fundamental duties. Only those who are explicitly brought through certain acts like respecting national symbols or national flags or others like SC/ST rights and carrying exploitation and other things. Only those who are brought by the rights, but not overall like scientific. If you do not have scientific temper, state is not going to punish you. So enjoyment of rights under part 4 is dependent on evidence to fundamental duty. We know that part 4 is a fundamental rights, and fundamental rights are enforceable, justiciable on its own, and it is not dependent on any duty. The rights and duties are correlative, but in India, fundamental rights are not correlative, not dependent on the fundamental duty. So only 2 will be correct here. 1, 3 and 4 are not correct here. So option C. Moving on to the last question today. Consider the following statement. The fundamental duties provided in the Constitution are to protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, to safeguard private property, and to protect and improve the natural environment. So we know that if you have to go by elimination, so we already know that India is a sovereign socialist country. So sovereign word is used in the preamble. So preamble cannot be there. In rights, it is not there because there cannot be such kind of rights. It is also not in the DPSP. So there is only chance that sovereignty, unity and integrity will be in the fundamental duty. In preamble, we have unity and integrity of India along with sovereign word in the beginning. To safeguard private property, okay, we have a fundamental duty to safeguard the public property, not the private property. For private property, we have civil code, we have civil laws that will brought a case someone against you if you if you destroy the private property. And then protect and improve the natural environment. We know that natural environment, protecting it become a priority in 1970. So Article 15A, which provided for the fundamental duties, have also one section, that is G, which provided for protection of environment. So here 1 and 3 will be true here. and 2 is not correct. Thank you for watching today's session. If you have not joined the Streak Initiative, go to the comment section and join it. If you want to join rigorous preparation with Civilsdaily, you can join our mentor late test series we provided in the link. And if you want to join also Super 25 program under me for 2021 targeted for next 60 days, you can follow the link and reach out to me. Thank you for watching this session.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civilsdaily.